I'm really excited to have Sergiu with me and Hosky for this interview today. So Sergiu, how about we start with you? If you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Sergiu. I'm from Romania, European Union. I run the ELIK Pool. I'm a 40-some years old economist, and I've been with the Cardano community since 2021.
So yes, a couple of questions. How did you first get into crypto?
Well, this will be a very interesting story. So this will be straight from the heart. So in February 2021, 1 month before my daughter was born, I was standing here in this very office, and it all started like a very good joke. I was thinking about what should I do with her and get her for $100 that when she turns 18, she will have no financial problems. So it all started as a joke. I'm a very keen to study person. I started to learn about cryptocurrencies. I took it very seriously, starting from proof of work, proof of stake, and everything in between. And when I stopped and discovered Cardano, I really fell in love with it. The mission, the idea, the whiteboard. It all started with a whiteboard, of course, because I was browsing the internet. Learning about the idea of how to change the world and wanted to do this for my kids, actually, made me really get into the Cardano ecosystem with all my heart.
No, I wouldn't call it dramatic. And I think a lot of the people in the Cardano community as a whole, though, have a very similar story. And a lot of the people I've always talked to always come to that whiteboard video. It was just different, because I can say that that really is the reason why I myself am in Cardano. So it started with that whiteboard video. First time I watched it, I'm like, well, this is something I can relate to. And I totally agree with what he's talking about. He's like speaking directly to me because I see all these issues. And I believe that this is the way forward. So it's refreshing. It's also funny to see that a lot of us who are in the Cardano community are here because of that one video on that was posted to YouTube. So no, it's great, and also great that a lot of us who have kids also are like, well, what can we do for our kids so they don't have to go through what we've gone through? And I think crypto as a whole, especially with all the bank failures we're seeing, all the made up, let's be real, shit coins that are currencies, nations' currencies, are definitely a better long-term hodl, if you want to use that word, which I'm not a fan of, than US dollars or whatever your nation's currency is, as it just keeps depreciating as time goes on.
I've been to the 2008 crisis. It was a different one from this one, but it's still it was a very tough period. I always searched in my soul for the solution, but unfortunately, I only have found it in 2021.
You said that you're an economist, so I think it would be a good thing for us, to get a little bit of like information from you. Given your profession, how come you chose Cardano specifically, and you didn't choose like Ethereum or Algorand or Polygon or whatever else that's out there? How come it was Cardano specifically?
You have to have a long-term perspective. You cannot play the game or enter this industry, or you can, of course, just stay for 1 year. But this is not the idea in my mind. The idea as an economist, like you said, is that we need to build the system, and we need to put the bricks one by one and build another financial system that will replace the current one, which is by no means, and I'm really careful with my words, a big fraud. It's a big fraud, starting with inflation, starting with money being printed out of thin air without any backup, and people, because they put their trust in the governments, they just don't pay attention, or they don't think that there is actually an alternative. If you look at the whiteboard video, we go back again to the whiteboard video, and you see something that has a vision that is not only for the next year or the next 2 years or just this bull market. If you see something that is going to, or at least the objective is to build a better world and a better financial system for the whole world, which will be a challenge because they will not go down without a fight. And I mean the current financial systems. If we have a long-term perspective, and Cardano is a project that had it from the start, it had it from the inception, it had the good ideas, and it had the people that recognize themselves in those ideas that fuels its strength. The strength of Cardano as a project, in my opinion at least, okay, it started with an idea, a good project, a good team, but you need the people behind it. If you don't have the people behind it with some economic values or economic knowledge, or just be educated by others like you do, Theodore, with your videos in Greek also, congratulations. And yeah, so that's why I chose Cardano.
And I think I definitely agree with you when you say that a lot of people think that the current powers that be are just going to allow it to happen. And I mean, we're seeing banks right now in trouble. We're seeing stuff happen. And what is funny and sad at the same time is that, you know, we just had a bank failure in the US, SVB, which was not a crypto bank. Yet the government is trying to spin this narrative that the reason this particular bank failed was because of, you know, crypto that they handled or whatever not. That's the narrative they're trying to portray. But when you actually look into it, this is something that their quote unquote regulated entity completely dropped the ball. The inflation had a lot to do with it when the government is now offering 5% on their bonds. And the bonds that these banks are holding are only worth 1%. It's almost impossible for them to sell it for, you know, to recoup money when there is a bank run. Yet they choose to spin this narrative to discredit crypto and refuse to take any responsibility. And like you said, this isn't going to be something that they're just going to fold their hands and say, hey, we give up, we lose, you guys were right. This is going to be something they're going to fight tooth and nail because when they lose this money printer, they lose power, and money is all about power. And the governments don't want the individuals to have the power. They want to be the ones that are in control. They want us to depend on them to tell us what to do. But I think that people are starting to wake up, you know, especially seeing the collapse of 2008. I was there 2008. I bought my first house in 2007. So you can only imagine how horrible it was that 2 years later, my house was worth less than half of what I paid for it. So it's this kind of stuff that when I think back, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go back to that. I don't have any trust in fiat because, again, there is nothing behind fiat backing it. They can say, oh, crypto has nothing backing it. Well, in reality, there's nothing behind fiat. So let's go to the next question. What was the point that you told yourself, I feel like I want to run a stake pool? And how long ago was that? So on top of that, you know, just give us a little detail about your particular stake pool.
Basically, learning from the proof of work to proof of stake. Mm-hmm. It took me about, I think it was 3 months before I decided that I will go for the stake pool. It was the inception of the bull run. So that's how I felt it. I entered the bull run. So it seems like it was going to last a little longer than it actually did. And I committed in terms of investing a lot of my personal resources, not only just in ADA, but also in the servers and the technical equipment. And that's how I started it. Of course, I wanted to also reach to the part of changing the world. Listening to other stake pool operators from YouTube that inspired me, it was clear to me that I need to give back something to the community and also to non-Cardano community. Why? Because I really feel that we need adoption, and adoption is going to happen a lot through word of mouth and through real life connections between people that, I don't know, maybe they are just delegators, or maybe are just stake pool operators, or something like that, but they need to promote this project or this, let's say, solution to the financial problems that we have discussed earlier, to promote them to people that don't watch YouTube or are not on Twitter. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people who are not connected to our stream of information, and they need to be, let's say, debriefed over a cup of coffee. So I started the stake pool, and then I thought about a mission. Theodore has some explanation from the last part. As I have a situation in my family, the boy with autism disorder, I looked for something similar within the ecosystem, and I didn't find any stake pool that had a mission driven for autism awareness. It's a difficult subject for me to talk about because it also involves a lot of personal feelings, and I have a very deep connection to the subject. But also I wanted to give back something to these children who are more and more diagnosed with this disorder. And I chose the autism awareness mission-driven pool. My reach was limited. I have, let's say, involved a lot of my personal friends as an inner circle to the pool, which I'm pretty sure that Theodore did too when he started his journey. Then the conflict came, the conflict in the Ukraine. And I thought that, okay, it's an emergency. Romania is near Ukraine. So in last year, when things started, let's say, when the conflict, the war started, we had a lot of refugees, the Ukrainian refugees, who fled Ukraine. I know that some people nowadays don't have the same availability. They are not so interested anymore in this subject. But in February 2022, they were. And I had my first big delegator came through this mission, let's say, an upgraded temporary mission to the autism awareness. I said that I will donate, and I did in advance, actually all my fees. I donated them all in advance, just when the delegator came. And since then, we have circled donations between the Ukrainian refugees in Romania through Red Cross, the autism awareness campaign with a clinic in Romania who diagnoses and treats, has treatments for these kids, and also like a mini decentralized autonomous organization. At some point, I even donated to a UK charity at a personal choice from my top delegator.
You know, there's some people that say the most, you know, egoistic thing to do is when you help others, because this is when you get all the you know, this energy and the gratitude and everything else. So I just want to say a big thank you for all the things that you're doing. And one of the biggest reasons that we wanted to do this kind of show with Hosky is for exactly that reason, because there's not too many people in our ecosystem, in our community in general, that see small pools like yours that are doing such an amazing thing for not just the crypto space, but for like the world in general. Like you live in Romania, and you're doing good things for refugees that are coming from Ukraine, or you know, you provide funds and to charity about autism. Like, these are great things that I wish personally, and I've said that a year ago as well, like we could see way more people talking about those things and making sure that these people that are trying so hard on a day-to-day basis with putting their own personal funds, and I know it, I've been there many times. I have many friends like yourself, Sergio, and we all know each other in the ecosystem. But I think it's really important for all of us to highlight those things and making sure that these heroes, because that's how I see it, at least, the unseen heroes of our community. And it's really important for all of us to showcase that and make sure that we empower you and support you as much as we can. Sergio, if you don't mind telling us, like, what are your views on decentralization on Cardano? Do you think we can do better? Are we in a good state right now? Like, what are your thoughts?
I think everything can be done better. If we have to improve a system, even our own, we must always assume we can do better. It's dangerous to say that this is perfect and we will stop at how we are now and we will not make any improvements. Yes, I think we can do better on the decentralization topic. I'm fully aware, and I really try to understand IOG's, for example, point of view with block propagation within 5 seconds. So you cannot have K at 10,000 pools and be sure that every block will be propagated within 5 seconds. So we understand the technical difficulties. We understand that it's a process in which we can improve, let's say, the K parameter. But I'm pretty sure that decentralization is extremely important, especially with the upcoming regulations that will come in the United States and in the European Union with the MICA in 2 years or so, but we'll get over that. And it's very important that we have a lot of strong stake pool operators, preferably single stake pool operators. I think you can advocate the fact that you can be taken by surprise and open the second pool because your first one saturated way too fast. You're just surprised of your success. But I think overall, single stake pool operators are the backbone of decentralization and the key to pushing forward this industry.
Yeah, I definitely agree that, it's only a matter of time. It's not it's not if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. Is there anything that you're working currently at the moment? Anything that you have in the works?
I wanted to learn Haskell and Plutus, and I can tell you it's a challenge. I'm going to be honest. I've done some programming in my early years in high school, and after 2021, seeing the whole Plutus backend issues after Alonso and all those things until actually, let's say, Sunday Swap kicked things in and the DeFi ecosystem started, I enrolled an Emorgo course to learn about Haskell and Cardano programming. I'm doing it more like a hobby because I really want at some point to develop something even more. I have a business of my own, by the way. If I didn't say that in the beginning, I will say it now. I have a business of my own, which actually supported the whole stake pool endeavor in the beginning with infrastructure, donations, and everything. And I really want to build something in time, more than just the charity part of the mission-driven pool, which will be there forever. It will be a single pool for us, never a second one. It will be mission-driven all the way, but I want to develop something in the Cardano ecosystem, but I'm still learning. Like I said, Plutus is a developing program, as you all know. Haskell is hard, and it will take some time until I have something to really brag about, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, well, that's all you can do. You got to work on it, and as you progress, keep us posted. Also, I guess the last question will be on, as an SPO, what are your thoughts on the CIP 1694? So what are your thoughts just around that, around the discussions that have been happening?
Well, let's just say that I think we can all say this will be a tough subject. And I have read it. I'm not sure that I fully understand the upgrading process as we go before we actually get the vote. I'm quite convinced that a lot of people are not going to GitHub. GitHub, I think, is as technical as it is, it's scaring people. A lot of delegators and even stake pool operators will not go deep into this CIP, which is a shame because we should all read it before going to Twitter and making a lot of assumptions that we have understood everything there. I'm not making the assumptions that I understand everything there, but I have a strong opinion that voting should be rewarded and non-voting should not be penalized. So this is the way I see it. We should encourage the vote. We should have a reward system for the delegators that will at least, let's say, cover the blockchain transactions. I told you that I went into these courses, and in blockchain, everything is a transaction. So there is a transaction, there is a fee. So people, even if they vote, they will have a fee. I would like, this is my idea about the SIP, I would like for every voter somehow to be given back the fee. Why? Because it shouldn't feel like you have spent something to vote. Of course, if you take like I say, a parallel with the voting system in the real life, you have to go to the voting section. You are spending gas, time, whatever. There is an expense. But strictly for this blockchain and our incipient industry, in order to encourage more people to participate, and then, of course, maybe even read the SIP, we should have rewards for voting and not a single type of penalty or whatever for non-voting.
I actually really like your idea, and for some reason, nobody, if I'm not mistaken, anyway, nobody has really brought that up. so I actually think you have a really big point over there, Sergiu. Before we end our conversation, is there anything else that you would like to add? Anything that you would like to highlight, or you would like to share with us that you haven't so far?
I don't know. I'm very emotional, actually. As much as I laugh, I talk a lot. As much as I laugh, I'm very emotional because you, Theodore, and you, Hosky, are trying to do something that a lot of people don't bother to do. So I don't know. I just want to say a big thank you from the heart. I'm very, very happy to have met you. And I want to thank you again for this opportunity of having me here and talk about my, I don't know, ideas or visions.
The pleasure is ours. I think, unfortunately, not enough is done for small stake pool operators as it stands right now. And that's what we're trying to change, just so people can see who's on the other side of the ticker of the stake pool. A lot of times we run into each other on Twitter or other social media, but we never actually get to talk or see the person behind it, which I think adds a human element to the whole thing. So no, again, the pleasure for this has been ours. It's really good to get to meet more people, to see where they're coming from, and again, just to add that human element.
It's been a pleasure talking to you and learning more about you, about your stake pool, having a face right next to that ticker now for everybody, for the whole community to see. So I just want to thank you once again for joining us. And I'm really looking forward to have another discussion with you, and hopefully not in a year from now, but in a shorter time frame.
Anytime. Thank you again for having me.